don't know what I see. It's really weird. I see, it's like I have like a photograph of the outside of a house with a lawn and a fence, and the outside of the house, but the photograph has been like bent over and squished so that all I can see is like part of like the grass and part of the fence and like a little tiny bit of the house. And I don't, it's like I can only see 10% of what's there. I can only see like the bottom 10%, and the rest is just nothing. It's really weird.
So here you see a photograph of a house. The photograph is a little squished, so you can only see the bottom half. With the assistance of your spirit guide, what happens when you unfold this or peel it back or step into the photo?
I don't know. I see the outside of that house and like the outside of maybe some brick apartment building that we lived in once. I don't know. I can see, I don't even have an image of myself or of her. I just have this sense of like being outside of different buildings where we have lived, and the feeling is of just it's not good enough. Like I'm not good enough. Nothing is ever good enough. Life isn't fair. There's just this like heaviness of nothing's ever going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually see any like see anything.
So here you are standing on the outside of these buildings, feeling that the sense of not being good enough, that it's never good enough, knowing that your spiritual guide is here assisting you. What do you do here?
Hmm. I feel scared and sad and small, and I guess like I hear fighting and yelling inside. There's like more than one scene I'm seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
um but that, yeah, in all of them I can hear, it's like I'm outside and I hear screaming and yelling and fighting and I feel bad.
You hear yelling and screaming, and you're outside and you feel sad and you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so, speaking spiritual guide or higher self, what does he need to see or learn from this scene in which she is experiencing this feeling of sadness?
First of all, I feel like I'm all crooked. Like I feel like my body has turned into a crescent moon shape, even though I'm pretty sure I'm still straight. So there's that going on. Like I'm being like bent over in a C shape. I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing, I don't know. Like I'm trying to see my shoes and my feet because that's a good place to start. I'm seeing like poverty and okay, what's the message here? The message is that we've been doing this for a long time. We've done this over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
And 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 that maybe the dynamic of her being mean and me being weak and hurt gets like very marginally better every time, but not much. Like it's like, oh, it was worse those other times than it is this time, but it's still like, it's still really shitty. I don't know what's the thing. It's that it's this, or yeah, this is the same. We've just been doing the same thing.
So you've been doing the same thing over and over. This shitty dynamic in which you feel weak and she is mean. And here you are feeling this crescent bent shape. And now I invite you to return back to the movie theater with your spiritual guide, your higher self. And we're going to call up now, as the projector is rolling, a new scene. And that scene is a past life. And I want you to get closer. The screen is flickering white as you move closer and closer to the scene. Closer and closer. 3, 2, past life with your mother. 1. What do you see?
I see like a dirt floor and like stone, like a stone cottage, like it's really dark. There's like one window and there's a fire. It's really sooty and I'm dirty and I'm cold. And she like kicks me and, yells at me and I'm hungry and I have like pain. Like my mouth is sore, like my teeth are sore. And um there's just this sense of always hoping, like I'm still like, I can just see myself. I'm just like hopeful that she'll be nice to me, like a little puppy. Like maybe this time she'll be nice to me. But I can see her just like slapping me and kicking me all the time. I'm like that poor kid that has bruises and no shoes and smells bad. I'm that kid. I have like bugs in my hair and stuff.
How old are you in this scene?
5.
5. So here you are, 5 years old, with a mother who slaps you and kicks you, and you feel like a dog who's hopeful that things are going to get better. What do you say to your mother in this scene, knowing that you're safe here? You have the assistance with your spiritual guide. You may say anything you wish.
Well, I say, we're done now. I'm not doing this anymore. And then I like pick myself up and we leave.
We're done here. We're not doing this anymore. And so you pick yourself up and you leave.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how does that feel? Scan your body. How does it feel to be 5 years old, leaving the situation? You're done.
Feels relieving.
Feels relieving. Very good. Is there anything else to explore in this time here with your mother?
No.
Okay. So now let's return back to the movie theater. And now we're going to roll on the screen in front of us, hearing that projector, and the light is flickering. We're going to go with whatever appears. This is a past life with your sister. You're moving closer and closer to a previous time, a time long ago, which you lived out a past life with your sister. 3, 2, 1. What do you see?
I don't see anything clearly, but I get a sense that we are warring like we're. I see it. I don't see. I feel like we were men and we were women. I feel like we've like physically been at war against each other as men, like with armies and as some kind of princesses or something like this, where we have power and we're warring against each other with money. And I see like fighting with her as neighbors. I see, I feel like I see that we've been at war with each other for many so many different versions.
So many versions, perhaps too many to see all at once, but you get the sense of the two of you spending lifetimes warring with each other over princesses or money and neighbors. And so let's call her now in front of you. See her in this form or previous form. Notice what she's wearing. How does she look?
She looks like a man in armor with a sword.
She looks like a man in armor with a sword.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with her standing here before you, looking this way, knowing that it is safe to say anything you wish to say to her, knowing that you've spent many, many lifetimes warring with each other, what do you wish to say to her now?
I don't say anything. I just like there's I can there's been a I've separated from it. There's nothing to say. I've like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, put up some invisible barrier, or I'm like in a different place now. I just don't do any of that anymore.
Okay, so you've separated yourself. You don't do any of that anymore. I'm going to go with whatever appears. 3, 2, 1. Be there now. What do you see?
I see that um we lived like side by side, and for like my whole life I hated her. And then right at the end when we were both old, I learned because she like I hated her because she was a bad neighbor and she was always doing all this dumb shit and like messing with my stuff. And then right at the very end, I realized she'd been living in that house with some kind of like invalid or infirm, like something. Like she had some really shit situation that I didn't know about, and
Mm.
it explained all the bad stuff, and then I just felt sorry for her.
Years of a shitty relationship, the neighbor, her doing shitty things, and now you've realized that all these years she's been living with someone who was perhaps an invalid. And so bring her to your presence. You two are old ladies now, and you've come to this realization. What do you say to her?
Mm. I'm supposed to say, like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, and I should have helped you. But there's like a huge piece of resistance here where I don't even want to say anything nice to her in this situation in a past life. There's part of me that's like, fuck her. I, I don't care what her situation is. Um, so I can't even be compassionate in an entirely authentic way right now.
Let's talk to that part that has just said, fuck her. I don't care about her situation. I want you to respond to that part. What do you say?
I say that that part probably has a lot of stories to tell and probably has a lot of things that need to be heard and seen and aired out.
Mm-hmm. That part has a lot of stories to tell, a lot to be seen and aired out and heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that I'm sorry that it's taken so long. Um, but I'm here now and I would like to pay attention and listen.
You're here now. You're sorry that it took so long, but you're here now. And you like to look at it and pay attention. And so now I invite yourself, or spiritual guide, to share with her the tools and the techniques for her to pay attention to this part she wants to work on. When you're ready, go ahead and share what your higher self is telling you.
They're kind of just showing me that there's a door has been opened now, and that like in my everyday life I'm just gonna keep getting like memories and downloads and understandings and recollections of things that have happened, and that I need to use my normal process to just like move them through.
Mm-hmm. See that door that's been opened. Knowing that you will continue to receive the downloads in order to process. What do you say and do in response to what your guides are sharing with you?
I kind of have two things going on. I've got like I don't know, this is a new knowing for me, and it's like I can see everything really clearly, and it makes everything really clear. I've always wondered, like, I don't understand what this thing is. Like, I don't understand. I just never understood what was going on with my sister. And now it's like, oh, this is so big and old. And it feels like uh like some of the other things I feel like are I'm here to resolve them this time, and I don't know if that's true. Like this one feels like so ancient, and we're so entrenched at this war. Like it's not just it's war. We've been engaged in massive wars with like lots of men involved, that now it on one side it all makes sense. It's like, oh, this makes sense, and so I relax a little bit. But on the other hand, I don't feel a tangible sense of closure that I do sometimes with the other things, where it's like, oh, if I just do my healing thing, this will reach a point of resolve. And I don't get that right now. So it's like, oh, so that's a new thing for me to be faced with something where this is longer term than this lifetime, or I don't, it just feels bigger and more, and like, but that's, I don't feel any pressure. Like I don't have to try to fix it. It's just like, oh, this is like a really big, well traveled pathway here. And I don't know that this road was going to just like come to an end at one day. Yeah.
And so, in the presence of your spiritual guides, this massive warring, many lifetimes with her sister, and she's been shown this opening. And what can you recommend she do in order to move this energy through her?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There's like open the heart and let the feelings come, let the heartbreak happen. Pray and ask for help. Invite the energy to move, you know, invite it out of the body. Use the chakra points if that's helpful. And then replace it. Like bring in new healing light and new healing experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Like working towards healthy relationships with, humans.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that I'm feeling this war, it actually feels like this is like this is like a big war between us. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
like seeing like interplanetary or something. Like this has been going on for like eons. Like even like before Earth or something. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like just so locked in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm comfortable with it. Like there's some warrior piece of me that's like, yeah, this is what I do.
Mm-hmm. And so your spiritual guides are showing you the same thing. It's a practice of opening up the heart. You know how to do this, running the energies, checking the chakra points if you need it, and understanding that there's a warring that's been going on for eons, maybe even before Earth's incarnation, and that you're comfortable in this warrior part of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, speaking to your spiritual guides, is there anything that should understand or needs to understand, or anything you'd like to say to her or impart to her with what she has just said?
Just a reminder that what's comfortable is almost certainly not what serves any longer, and that there's a requirement of discomfort as new experiences and ways of being come into play. Um, so warring is comfortable and easy, but that's not who we are anymore, and that's not what we're doing anymore. So using that piece of knowledge to understand how I function in relationship when I am reacting from a non-connected place will be useful, but the goal is to be responding from a connected place more often than reacting from a non-connected place. So the requirement of learning new ways of being and therefore being uncomfortable is there and needs to be highlighted.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And Zay, in response?
Yeah, okay. Got it. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, speaking to spiritual guides, is there anything else that she can do in practice to move through out of the state of uncomfortableness into discomfort in order for a shift and a change to occur?
Remain curious.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm having trouble focusing on what you're asking because I am seeing like interplanetary war.
Mm-hmm.
I am seeing myself as like an alien general or some shit, and I don't believe in any of that. But I can
Mm-hmm.
like totally see it's like, what the fuck does that then mean that like
Let's move to that. Let's go to that alien general. Get close. Let's move close. 3, 2, you're going to see that screen appear in front of you. 1, be that alien general either on the screen, see it or be it. Describe yourself.
um I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I look like an alien. There's a lot of beings I'm in charge of, and there's
Mm-hmm.
cover a lot of space. There's a lot of space. We've got like, I don't know, vehicles that can go far and they go super fast. And it's super complicated because there's like a lot of things out there. And so like, how do I know where they all are?
Here
I don't
you
know.
are, this general, this alien general in charge of all these beings. You can go super far, super fast. What is your mission as a general?
To take out my sister and all her people.
Take out your sister and all her people. What is your sister called in this lifetime? As an alien general, what are you calling this being that you want to take out?
I don't know. I can see it and I can hear it, but I wouldn't know how to try to say it.
Okay. You can see it, you can hear it.
There's like a shape that her there's like a shape that her name is.
Describe the shape that her name is.
It's like a fancy octagon kind of, but it's not complete. It's like a maybe it's an incomplete hexagon shape.
Mm-hmm. Incomplete
Uh,
hexagon shape. And so your mission is to take her out. What did she do? What did her and her people do that was so terrible that you, as a general, need to take her out?
oh no, I think we did stuff and she like tried to stop us or whatever. I think
Mhm.
actually I might be the bad one.
Okay, so you two together try to do stuff, and she tried to stop you. And now you're thinking that you might be the bad one.
I mean, relatively. I don't really feel
Mhm.
bad or remorseful, but I
Mhm.
can acknowledge that maybe my behaviors were contributing to this.
Mhm. Let's
And like there's no sense of worry about the carnage. Like it feels fun and inconsequential.
Mhm.
Like any casualties mean nothing, like they're a video game or something.
Mhm. And so let's move to an earlier time in this lifetime in which you and your sister were getting along before the split happened and one started to do something bad. Let's move back in time, back to that time in which you two were getting along, getting closer to that time as a different life form, perhaps three, two, one. Two are working on something together.
No, we weren't. We were never getting along. We were totally separate, and I did some shit, and she came and attacked me.
Okay, let's go to that scene in which you were working on something and she came and she attacked you.
Yeah, well, her dudes are like, she's pink, and there's like some orange. They came and like, fucking wrecked a bunch of my stuff. I was like building the big buildings. Like I was building like a city or something.
Here you are building the city. It's big.
Yeah, and the color, like it doesn't at all look like Earth. The color, it's all like dark blue, like the light's all different. There's no water.
Mm-hmm. No water.
There's no
It's different.
water. And like the atmosphere is so much heavier than here.
Mm-hmm.
Um and what I'm seeing is she just like came along with some pink things and like I don't know. It's not like she bombed things because then you have rubble. But it's not like she vaporized things because it's not like there was nothing left either.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of like changed the structures of the things with which I had built my things with so that
Mm-hmm.
none of it worked anymore and it was useless.
So she changed the structure of the things that you were building.
Buildings with
Mm-hmm.
somehow she and then she just zoomed off.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do when she zoomed off after destroying or changing the structure of your city?
I got angry and swore vengeance. And then it seems like it just goes forever then.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was important. I was doing something important for something. For for mm,
You're doing something important for getting closer to this idea. What were you doing that was important? What was the importance in the city that you were building?
I
Who
don't
or
know, it was
what
gonna
were
like
you building this for?
it was marginally gonna be good for most things, but also I would become very, very famous and like rich and powerful from it.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't even like a pure intention type of thing. It was greedy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. It was
So,
no. I can see it. I just wouldn't begin to know how to describe, or I don't know what it was for.
mm-hmm.
Like what is that? Is that like a it was where something new was gonna be possible.
Mm-hmm. It was where something new was going to be possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so, calling upon your guides, is there anything else for to explore in this lifetime that would shed light and clarity?
No.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to say to your spiritual guides about this lifetime and this experience with your sister?
Yeah, well, I want to know how this relates to like God
Mm-hmm.
because this field where this is taking place is beyond, it's outside of what I understand God and the source light to be. So
Mm-hmm.
either I've completely misunderstood how all of this works. I don't understand how all of this works. What is going on? Like darkness cannot exist in the presence of light, but what I'm seeing is in the universe, and the universe is dark. It's dark out there. There's no like it's not like the universe is surrounded by the light of God, because that's not what's here. So then is the light of God just some smaller thing that floats around within this black space? That can't be right. I don't know.
And so, with that said, hear the response from your spiritual guides, asking, is God beyond the space of darkness, or is God this light that floats around in space?
Yeah, they're like, no, you just totally misunderstood everything. God is in everything. So, but I don't believe what they're saying. But what they're telling me, that's fine. I don't, okay. So, what they're saying is that those things that I saw in that city and the space in between and the ships or whatever, all of that are incarnations of God itself, and they wouldn't exist without the light of God and the source light. they're saying that those are incarnations and manifestations,
Mm-hmm.
that the universe itself is a manifestation of God. And that darkness, all the molecules that make up the darkness in between the stars and the lights, are that is God too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, okay, well, my human brain like can't get that right now.
Mm-hmm. So God is a manifestation within all that is created.
Like even aliens is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. Even aliens is a manifestation of God. And God resides within each and every alien and each and every human and every life form within this galaxy and beyond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That the galaxy itself is God.
And that the galaxy itself is God.
Right? That's what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. And so, with this said, is there anything you'd like to say or do in response to this download?
I'm just like, okay, well, I just want to like tap out for a while then. Tap out. I'm out. I just like to like, let's stay at this level for a while. Let me assimilate this. And like maybe I can circle back and revisit that idea in a while, because I don't want to, that, I don't know, that just seems, I have a lot of resistance to that.
I'm calling for a tap out with the possibility of revisiting this experience while she assimilates the download that has just been downloaded. All right, and calling any other further questions from your spiritual guides. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with this time?
Yeah, we want to remind that the focus, the practice that needs to be focused on is the bringing in healing and vitality and light, and that the work of um, really stoking and kindling the the light and getting it as bright as it can be is needs to be the main focus right now.
Mm-hmm. So, bringing in the light, growing the light, and stoking the light is your practice and what is called for
Mm-hmm.
in your practice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, is there anything you'd like to say in response?
No.
Okay. And so now it is time to bid farewell to your spiritual guides, knowing that they are here, always have been, and always will be. It is time to call you back to your present self in time. I will count you from 1 to 5, and on 5, you will open your eyes feeling energized and at peace. 1, 2, bringing back with you all the downloads, the tools, and the techniques gained in this session. 3, returning to yourself, become aware of the room that you are in, the sounds that you hear. 4, begin to move your fingers and your toes. 5, open your eyes when you are ready.